Welcome to Optimal Timelines. My name is Sean, and this is going to be your monthly Tarotscope readings for your North Node by sign and house for October 2023. Now, before we begin, three things. Number one, if you're new to the channel, the reason I use your North Node in readings as opposed to your Sun, Moon, or Ascendant sign is that it's recognized in astrology that your North Node is your North Star. It's your soul path. It's what you're here to learn and experience in this lifetime. So it's much more relevant to your everyday life as opposed to your sun, moon, or ascendant sign in readings. Number two, these readings are for the individual soul path for the North nodes, not a collective readings for the general public or humanity, meaning that we have a personal soul path for each of us and we have a collective soul path as humanity. So these are geared toward each person's soul path. Now, lastly, you are going to want to watch two videos. You're going to want to watch one for your North Node by sign and one for your North Node by house. So with that, let's begin. I'm going to connect to the energies and we can start. I call upon my spirit guides and guardians and the wisdom of my ancestors to bring forth the information that's true and correct for all who see this reading, that it may bring them the most beautiful, happy life possible and set them on their most optimal future timeline. So may it be. Okay, North Node in Aries or North Node in the first house. This is going to be your monthly Tarotscope reading for October 2023. Okay, so the spread on this side of the table represents the first half of the month, October 2023. And then this side over here represents the second half of the month. So this is from the 16th onward. Now, your overall theme card that came up was the King of Swords. And what I felt by this is also being fortified and corroborated by this first reading. When I saw this, what I saw as an overall theme was this is going to be a month for you to balance and temper emotions and passions and blend it with the intellect, thought, good communication, and the mind. Okay. And what I'm seeing here is we'll start with the timeline here. So for the first 2 weeks of October, you've got the Seven of Cups, you've got the King of Cups reversed, and you've got the Temperance card. And again, what I'm seeing with this reversed King of Cups is there is going to be a situation that's going to happen that the first 2 weeks of October that is going to be either an emotional choice or emotional choices that you have to navigate, okay? And the best way to navigate them is it's going to be not necessarily going with just your heart instinct. So I know that it's said a lot like follow your heart, okay, but there's a time when we have to sometimes follow like logic and intellect blended with the heart. You need this balance, and that's what I see happening. There could also be some confusion over these emotional choices, like a little bit of like indecisiveness that is happening. And again, remember, if your North Node is in Aries, your South Node is in Libra, okay, or the seventh house, right? And Libra, one of the dark sides of Libra is notoriously not being able to um, make up their minds, having tough, and that's a positive thing. It's a positive thing in the sense that they're trying to make the best decision possible, to be the most fair they can be, to make the best choices. Okay, that's why I would always choose a person with a strong Libra energy to be like a judge of some sort, because if you're watching this video, you're naturally like a very fair person. Um, but what can happen is there could be difficulties making your mind, because Libra energy can have the ability to see like, oh, I can see that looks good, and yeah, but this also looks good. And so it's tough, like, sometimes you just got to make a choice, right? And so that's what this is saying. This is saying like to be decisive. And the way you're going to make up your mind is when you step back emotionally, King of Cups reversed, and you're going to bring in, your logic. So you're not abandoning your heart. And remember, the Libra South Node, it's ruled by the planet Venus, okay, the heart, okay, but your North Node is ruled by, Mars, okay, so it's a fire sign. So we're looking at, even though I don't have any fire cards necessarily right here, I do over here. This is a time the way to balance out um, heart energy is with the mind, or with the fiery instinct, coming from your kind of gut feelings. So that's what, with this temperance card, we're balancing that out. That's how. Now how is this going to play out? So you have some tough emotional decisions to make, um, ways you need to go. How can tapping into your logic and intellect and communication help you? Well, your advice cards are, you've got the Two of Wands here, and you've got the Knight of Swords. Now, what this is saying is the reason that you're going to be helped by not getting emotionally bogged down by these decisions, these emotional decisions, the first 2 weeks of October, is because the decision you want to make is you have to think about the future. So whatever it is you're trying to decide to do the first, 2 weeks of October, think about it in the long term. That's what this is, thinking about your future and how it's going to affect, not the short term, not the immediate, what it is right now, but whatever decisions that you're making emotionally, and going through this, how is it going to affect your goals, your life down into the future? And when you start to think of it that way, you say, okay, I've got some decisions to make, and you start thinking about it. What can happen is, the reason I say the heart energy has to be tempered is because it could be like you could be making decisions on the short term just to fix a situation, or, just to get by in the interim. But the better decision would have been to think more of a long term. See, so when you think, how, whatever decision I make, how is it going to affect me and my life and those around me in the long term? Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, you've got the Knight of Swords. Knights are cards of movement. In this case, this is quick, decisive movement. And so when your mind and logic is telling you to do a certain thing, you need to act on it. Because remember, for you North Nodes and Aries, you are being rewarded in this lifetime to be direct and incisive and decisive. Okay, you are really rewarded for that. And that's what this is saying. This is saying, like, take action, and don't hesitate when you get the indication that it's right. What could hold you back from that? Well, let's say, like, your intellect is telling you, and your logic is telling you, this is the right decision. You can see that this decision is going to be for your long-term best, but your heart could be telling you, but I don't know, because of that. So all this is saying, these readings are just a heads up for you. You're going to be better off if you follow logic, intellect, and think about whatever decisions you're making long term. Okay. Now, going on to the second 2 weeks, You've got on your timeline, you've got the Tower card reversed, you've got the Queen of Wands reversed, and you've got the Page of Wands reversed. Now, what I'm thinking here is that there could be a little bit of some sort of a turmoil the second half of the month, and I feel like what it is it could. I feel like it could be like tapping into your energy in a bad way. So, like when we're going through life, a lot of times things can be um, difficult for us or taxing for us, um, either mentally, emotionally, or like energetically, physically, energetically. And I feel like this little upset is, it could, like, you could feel like your energy is sapped a little bit, and the way out of that is you want to tap in again to that fiery Aries energy of that north node. That's what the page is telling you. The page is telling you, okay, you've taken this little bit of a hit energetically, and it could even be like adding in like mentally and emotionally, and you don't want to let it sap you, or keep you down, too long. We all have that. It's like this is about bouncing back and being resilient. Now, the advice cards of how to do that are, you've got the Hierophant, and you've got the Seven of Pentacles. Whoops. Now, starting with the Seven of Pentacles, this is what's happening here with this second half of the month is, you are waiting for patiently for situations to develop. I feel like decisions you're making at the beginning part of October are taking time to develop, and it's going to require patience on your part to wait for them to develop to a certain point. And the sapping of the energy could cause like impatience to come up. And so what you want to do is just allow it to happen and move through you, and the having the patience will allow you not to let it like sap your actual physical energy, or mental, or emotional. And what's playing on that also is the Hierophant. And what the Hierophant is telling you is, it's telling you to go back into, this is about like learning, but what this message for you is, this is about learning of, like, from your past, learning from what has worked in your life and not worked. So when you're having this patience, you're allowing yourself to go back and say, oh, okay, I I've learned from all of these things that have transpired in my life, and I'm making better choices moving forward. And that's how you're not allowing this to sap you, because the energy I'm feeling is like the situation, it could be like a hit, and then in the past you might have allowed it to sap your energy more than you should have. But I feel like a lot of you are going to bounce back from that, especially if you can have that patience to allow the situation to develop. And I feel like by the end of the month, and or close to you know beginning of November especially, it's going to develop to the point to where things are going to, you're going to see the path forward. Okay. So again, like I said, when with this Hierophant, what's going to allow you to uh, not be stuck in, let's say, a down energy mode, is thinking about how you've maybe gone down this road before and you've learned. So this is about like the application of wisdom. And wisdom comes from experience, and learning from wisdom is literally like learning from experience. And so that's really what you're doing here. And that's why this is happening. So really for you, all about, this is all about like tapping in more into the mental side of life, but and also acting um with directness and with decisiveness, and at the same time not allowing yourself to stay in maybe more of a down state, being able to like bounce back. And I feel like you're gonna do that. I think that the energy is gonna come back to you, especially by the end of the month, because of your past experiences and you applying that wisdom. Okay. But yeah, powerful month for you, Aries North nodes or North nodes in the first house. I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. If you have any personal questions that you need answered, or you'd like a personal reading where I can look at your birth chart and give you an individual either life path or just answer questions, my website and link is going to be in the description box below. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, you can also just reach out to me in the comments. I love to interact with you there. If you can hit that like button, it'd be much appreciated. And yeah, we'll see you on some more videos. Make it a great month. Many blessings.